Hello and happy Wednesday, everybody. Here's what's coming up tonight on Now. Arrests have been made in connection to that death in Cherryfield. We will talk to the victim's sister.
Plus, the announcement this morning that people who are transgender will no longer be allowed to serve in the military. We are following up on that.
Also, I've been told since I was little that cracking your knuckles leads to arthritis. But does it actually? We'll check it out.
This is News Center Now. I'm Amanda Hill.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. It's a move that many advocacy groups are calling a step backwards from the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. But the White House says it's in the best interest of the military.
This morning, President Donald Trump tweeted that after speaking with generals and military experts, those who identify as transgender will no longer be accepted into or allowed to serve in any capacity in the United States military.
Now, the move last year by then Defense Secretary Ash Carter lifted a ban on transgender people being able to serve openly. While Carter set the plan in motion, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis announced that he would delay the decision to study the issue further.
Then came President Trump's announcement this morning. Right now, we're asking what you think about this decision. So go to pulse.newscentermaine.com to vote in the poll or open up your mobile app and select the Pulse tab.
Now, we want to know more about what the impact would be on having transgender people in the military. So we sat down with Colonel David Hunt, who lives in Maine now. He spent nearly 3 decades in the military. He's a regular commentator on Fox News.
While the issue is complicated, his view is fairly simple.
There's less than 1% of the country serves. It's an all-volunteer force. We've been at war for 16 years, and there's thousands of people have been killed and tens of thousands have been wounded U.S. And if somebody wants to come and serve in a war, we should not care how they go to the bathroom or how they have sex. There is a problem with acceptance. It's a relatively conservative service, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and small units. And it is difficult to have, not fair, but difficult in a 40-man platoon or on a ship, or on a plane that's flying for 16 hours. Those are a lot of issues that go on socially. And when you throw in an issue like transgendered, or homosexuality, or boyfriend-girlfriend, it adds to the mix and it's difficult. Doesn't mean we shouldn't do it, but we have to accept that it's going to be tough.
Now, in the announcement, President Trump said the health care costs for transgender service members would be tremendous.
Now, last year, the Pentagon asked an independent research company to come up with an estimated cost. The RAND Corporation found that every year, about 129 active duty service members would seek gender transition-related treatment, racking the bill up to about an additional $8.4 million every year. That's about 0.04% of the regular health care budget.
So for more on the costs, we actually sat down with Gia Drew with Equality Maine, who herself is transgender. She says the president's 2 key points listed, cost and distraction, are excuses that have been used for years to exclude people who are LGBT.
I think all of us have different health decisions to make, and so it really isn't it's just more of an excuse than a real reason. As the military has become more inclusive and diverse, whether it was racial inclusion or whether it was gender inclusion years ago, and now with transgender people or LGBT people, it's always been, oh, they're going to be a distraction for us doing our job. And what we know that is not true, that LGBT people can serve honorably in the military and do a great job and make America safe.
Now, according to that same independent RAND study, there are anywhere from 1,300 to 6,600 people who are transgender serving in the military right now. The White House spokesperson said this afternoon that the Department of Defense will be responsible for deciding what will happen to those thousands of service members. But the White House says this is about cohesion in our armed forces. We chatted with Mark Murray from NBC News today to get his thoughts on how a decision like this could help unify President Trump's supporters.
The benefits are, I think from a pure political standpoint, to really shore up his conservative base, the religious right, people who really don't want to have transgender Americans serving in the United States military. And with President Trump and, some of the difficulties he's faced in his first 6 months in office, always being able to shore up your base is probably a benefit.
Now, for the sake of transparency, we reached out to the Maine National Guard, GOP leaders in Maine, and the Maine Heritage Policy Center for comment, but did not get a response from any of them. So we have looked at the stats and talked to a retired service member about what he thinks. This is usually the part where we would introduce someone who has experience with this debate, whether it be a soldier who has served with a person who is transgender or a trans person who is currently serving.
But if you know somebody who's in the military, you probably already know this part. They're limited when it comes to speaking about politics. Here's an excerpt from a 2014 Air Force directive which says a service member could be court-martialed for participating in a television program as an advocate of a partisan cause. So, coming on our show, representing themselves as a member of the armed forces and advocating for or against the president's policy could get someone into some serious trouble. While service members may be limited in their ability to talk about this subject, plenty of you have shared your views on our Facebook page.
Belinda says, I don't see this as being hateful. She goes on to say there is a high cost and the armed services cannot accommodate their special needs. She says even people with relatively minor limitations are accepted into the military.
Michelle says she understands the financial aspect, but why not find a way to make the treatment cheaper? She says this may be just as bad as when they didn't allow women to serve.
Deborah says the president is looking out for the rights of the people. She says our enemies would not negotiate for a POW who is transgender. She says we have rights here in America, but they don't carry over to other countries.
And Sherry says unless you have served, you don't know what you're talking about. Much more on this, of course, tonight on NBC's Nightly News with Lester Holt. A week after Sally Shaw's body was found on the side of the road in Cherryfield, 2 people have been arrested for her murder. State police say 37-year-old Corinne Reeves and 19-year-old Quenisha Greeley were arrested in Queens, New York about 8 o'clock this morning. Both are from New York City, but police say Greeley used to live in Lewiston. They will be charged with murder once they are brought back to Maine. Their first court appearance is set for tomorrow in Queens. The victim's sister says she's hoping this case is resolved.
I screamed and then started sobbing. It was like all of a sudden I just had this huge weight lifted off my shoulders. It was amazing. It was amazing because now we have to follow the due process.
Senator Collins says she apologized to Congressman Blake Farenthold after she was caught making fun of him on a hot mic with another senator.
And he is so, I don't mean being kind, but he's so unattractive, it's unbelievable.
Senator Collins says the congressman from Texas sent her a handwritten apology after his remarks that he wanted to challenge her to a duel because of her rejection of the GOP's health care plan. She says she sent an apology of her own in response.
In yesterday's statement to CNN, Senator Collins said neither weapons nor inappropriate words are the right way to resolve legislative disputes. But apologizes aside, this bizarre back and forth has sparked controversy among Maine voters.
Yeah, Robin says you shouldn't make personal attacks on a person's appearance. Disagree with them politically, but keep it professional. And Carol says she didn't say anything wrong. It was a discussion between 2 people. Cheryl says we need to stop acting like 2-year-olds and fix this country.
All right, that is a lot of news to get our program started here. So now for some relief. And the weather, gorgeous today, Keith. Gorgeous.
Comic relief?
No, I wasn't going to say that. I actually thought about that.
All right. Yeah. No, you're right. It was a gorgeous day today. Some clouds starting to stream in from the west, but almost zero cloud cover through the day. You don't get that too often in the summer. It's a satellite picture that you see more often in the late fall, early winter. We do have a system, though, approaching for tomorrow. It's a cold front, and that front is going to bring us some clouds overnight tonight, and then eventually some showers and maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. High temperatures today, though, we ended up at 81 in Sanford, 80 in Portland, 82 in Bangor. A few degrees above average for this time of the year, but overall nice. Here come the clouds. Tomorrow morning, expect to wake up to either cloudy conditions or straight up rain in the mountains and into the interior. Showers will continue through the middle part of the the day, and then some thunderstorms may pop up during the afternoon. A couple of those thunderstorms could be on the strong to severe side. We'll have to watch those. It has to do with how much sunshine we see, guys. The more sun, the better chance of having severe storms tomorrow afternoon.
All right, thanks, Keith. New England Patriots will be on the field tomorrow for their first practice at Gillette Stadium. With the beginning of the new season, there are many questions about concussion protocols, especially in the wake of a new study released yesterday.
Yeah, that Boston University study found that 110 out of 111 brains of NFL players that were analyzed showed signs of CTE, a degenerative brain disease. Chris Costa spoke to one of the authors of that study. Joins us now live. Chris, this study looked at all ages of football players.
Yeah, Lee and Amanda, it did, including student athletes that had not even entered high school yet. And in a matter of days, student athletes across the state and across the country will be out on fields like these getting ready for their fall sports. Now, researchers looked at more than 200 deceased brains of football players from all skill levels, ranging from pre-high school all the way up to the pros. This is the largest study of its kind to date. Scientists found that those who played football at higher levels, like the NFL, showed more severe signs of CTE. And while they say they cannot generalize this study to the average person, researchers say it brings up many interesting questions to explore to help combat CTE.
We need to really study and look at, is it the length of time, is it the number of hits, is it the type of hits? Kind of all these are different factors that could either increase or decrease or modify some way your risk for CTE, and we need to figure that out.
Coming up tomorrow on News Center Now, we're going to have much more on this story, including speaking to a former NFL player who retired from the game due to concussions, as well as speaking to high school coaches about what they're doing to protect their student athletes. Lee and Amanda?
All right, Chris, thanks. Okay, is it an annoying habit or really damaging to your bones?
I can't tell you how many times I got yelled at for cracking my knuckles. We will set out to verify whether or not cracking your knuckles could actually give you arthritis. My parents are going to owe me an apology when Now returns. All right, there's some pretty bad habits out there. Biting your nails, which I don't do. Talking too loud, and always saying the word like.
Another one on that list, cracking your knuckles, which, by the way, as I was reading this story before the show, the girl who sits right next to me was cracking her knuckles. Just saying, Katie. Could be annoying for people around you, but there's a myth out there that it could give you arthritis. So our media partners in North Carolina actually set out to verify.
Here a crack, there a crack. Everywhere a crack crack. My producer Monique wondered.
I wanted to know if cracking your knuckles causes arthritis.
Turns out she's not the only one who thinks so.
My dad told me that it did, so I believe him.
I cannot stand when other people crack their knuckles around me. It really irritates me just hearing the sound, and every time I hear someone cracking their knuckles, I think that they're immediately going to get arthritis.
To verify, we reached out to Austin Stubbs, Associate Professor of Orthopedic Surgery at Wake Forest Baptist Health. First, you're not actually cracking anything.
You're not actually breaking the bone, and you're not even breaking the joint.
The noise a joint makes when you pop it is simply a change in pressure.
When you move that joint suddenly in a particular direction, like taking a suction cup off of a mirror, you're going to get a noise out of that.
There's many different kinds of arthritis, and if you already show signs of it, then popping joints might hurt, but it won't make anything worse. But would it cause it to begin with?
As best we can tell, both from experience and from medical research, doesn't tend to lead to long-term damage.
Speaking of medical research, Donald Unger won a Nobel Prize for his in-depth study on himself. He cracked only his left hand twice a day for 50 years. That's more than 36,000 times. And his right hand, he never touched. The result? He didn't have any more arthritis in one hand than in the other. So, verified.
Knuckle cracking or cracking your fingers, I would call an innocent habit.
See?
Good to know.
I feel so much better now.
Do you?
I crack everything.
I do always think about it.
I would have been in a body cast if that turned out to be true, so I'm glad it's not true. See? Yeah. Good. Now crack away, baby.
Life can move on now.
Get cracking. All right. Want to swing by, grab some Taco Bell on your Lyft ride home? That might actually be possible. And a free taco. All right, I'm in. Could be part of the deal.
Plus, Keith Carson gives us a look at the forecast today. One for the books, but some rain may be on the way. We'll be right back.
All right, it's late at night. You're driving home and it hits you. All of a sudden, you are craving a chalupa. Taco Bell and Lyft, we just heard moans in the newsroom. Taco Bell and Lyft are teaming up for late night ride-throughs.
Apparently, users of the Lyft ride-sharing app may soon be able to add a Taco Bell stop to their ride. Taco Mode is an in-app option that includes a free Doritos Locos Taco. Taco Mode will first be available in California. It'll roll out nationwide next year.
All right, so from eating that food to getting yourself in shape. The TD Beach to Beacon 10K road race is in its 20th year. Runners will line up a week from Saturday.
That includes a list of legacy runners who've been there each year since the start of the race, which is pretty amazing. Even for seasoned runners like Margie Adams, some years are harder than others, though. 12 years ago, Margie had been diagnosed with breast cancer. She had undergone 2 surgeries and was in the midst of chemotherapy infusions, but knew she could not miss the race. Her support team jogged on either side of her, and when Margie crossed the finish line, she had a new understanding of the challenges so many others face at that race.
What makes this race so special to me is the fact that we have these incredible elite runners coming from all over the world to compete every year. We have local people who do it year after year, and we have a lot of first-time racers every year. This is their first 10K race for a lot of these people. So it's everyone.
As we said, that race is scheduled for next Saturday. We will have a pre-race show right here on News Center the night before.
It's going to be a good one, and I told you yesterday you had to get ready for the weather for a week from Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, still
so just keep it in the crystal ball.
Little too early to
we're
say.
in 10 days now. We're at 10.
Are you guys runners?
No, I will be at the finish line. I will drive there. And then I will watch everybody come in and I will clap.
Okay, yeah, I'm not a runner either. Hey,
good job.
Jess, can you restart my Max? Because it just
Keith broke
Live TV.
It just died.
Keith just broke something.
Live TV.
What do you guys want to talk about until we do that?
What's that?
What do you want to talk about until we restart this program?
Oh, our producer says let's go to the package and then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
So, in the dead of summer, some of us may be getting ready for a vacation.
I love that we just skipped Keith.
There we go.
We'll come back to him. Some of you might have gone the traditional route with your vacation, maybe a hotel or resort, but other B&Bs and other online bookings are so much more mainstream these days.
Yeah, when companies compete, your wallet may be the winner, though. NBC's Joe Ling reports.
Get away. Get home away.
The race to help you plan the perfect vacation is heating up. Big names you know like Expedia's Home Away and Priceline's Booking.com are trying to take a bite out of Airbnb's wild success. Airbnb itself, launched in 2007, blew away the existing competition. Now, companies that originally dominated hotel bookings are jumping into the home rental business to satisfy the rapidly changing tastes of travelers. Vacation home rentals are exploding, growing faster than hotels. Rentals shot up 11% last year. Airbnb is even attracting celebrity customers. Beyoncé stayed in this villa near San Francisco. Gwyneth Paltrow in the French Riviera. Even the Kardashians stayed in this New York penthouse that can go for a cool $10,000 a night. While Airbnb boasts 3 million listings, Booking.com says they now have 7 million, and HomeAway offers more than 2 million choices. To fend off the growing competition, Airbnb is rolling out new, unique travel experiences targeted at millennials, beyond just a roof over their head.
That's where we are going, an end-to-end travel platform where you can get unique, authentic homes, but also unique, authentic experiences. And at the end of the day, this is all about putting magic back into travel.
New startups like Beyond Pricing and Smart Host are also taking advantage of the vacation home rentals boom. They're helping owners figure out how much to charge when renting out their homes, especially if listing on multiple sites, as travelers peruse millions of possibilities to book that perfect getaway.
Hotels also feeling the pressure from Airbnb, so now some luxury hotels that have seen their bookings drop are offering huge discounts. So do your research before you choose.
All right, so let's try.
We had a lot going on there in the
Keith
break.
with the weather.
Okay, let's do it. I think we got a chance. Yeah, look at that. I don't know what happened. We got some new data in there, and it seems to be making the system a little sluggy, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. The new data, by the way, is the new GO-16 satellite, which is beautiful. You can see high-resolution satellite data, which showed us that today, you got to be kidding me, now it's not advancing. Jess, can you hit the space bar? Okay, now it's not working. Hold on, let's go to Max 2. Let's go to Max 2, Bill, if we can. We're getting this weather done. We're making this happen. All right, Jess, see if you can advance from there. All right, hit it again. Yep, yeah, all right, here we go. We got a cold front approaching for tomorrow, which will give us a couple of showers through the day tomorrow afternoon and some thunderstorms later in the day as well. All right, Jess, lead me down this path. Here we go. We got some clouds moving in overnight tonight, and then as we head into tomorrow, Jess Conley, everyone, Jess Conley, thank you. Thunderstorms pop up in the afternoon tomorrow, so you're going to start the day with clouds and a few showers. I think the middle of the day could have some sunshine. That destabilizes the atmosphere for these thunderstorms, a few of which could be strong to severe later in the day, so we'll keep an eye on those. That swings out, and Friday, which originally early in the week looked like a washout, looks much improved, partly cloudy with just a very isolated chance of a sprinkle, probably 10–15%. There will be a big coastal low sitting near us on Friday and into Saturday, and as we watch this storm, you can see how close it's going to be on Saturday morning. I'm not concerned about precipitation. We do, though, have to watch some of the cloud cover. This is relative humidity, showing us some low clouds hanging along down east of mid-coastal Maine on Saturday morning. They should clear out Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday is in good shape. Just something to keep an eye on. Another thing to keep an eye on, guys, Big Ridge coming in next week. Guttner with a great vacation pick next week. It's going to be beautiful and warm. This is next Tuesday. I like to think ahead, guys. Upper 80s, maybe low 90s. Summer is back. It was only gone for a couple of days, but a big return to it. Really nice stretch of weather from Saturday through next week, next week at least. And I think we'll stay relatively warm. We may cool down next weekend, which would work for the beach to beacon because runners don't really like 90 degrees.
No, that's not good for anybody.
Yep.
All right, sir, we've been asking you guys this whole show to weigh in on a big announcement today.
Yes, so go to pulse.newscentermaine.com if you want to weigh in on this. Should transgender people be allowed to serve in the military? You can also pull it up on your mobile apps, and we will be right back.
All right, time for our Pulse results that we've been asking you guys to take part in throughout the show.
The question was, should transgender people be allowed to serve in the military? As it stands right now, 61% say yes, 39% say no. So
Thank you
for
for
weighing
weighing in. Absolutely. All right, Casey's back, dropping some brains.
This hopefully will work. This is not one of my more scientifically taxing ones, but it's a cool website that gives you by zip code what kind of solar eclipse you're going to see when it happens and at what time it's going to happen. So, and if you scroll down, if we go scroll down a little bit, it'll show you how far you need to travel to get into the path of the total solar eclipse, which is basically going over Nashville and through the Carolinas. So it's a flight away from Maine. But we're going to talk more about this, guys, as it gets a little bit closer through mid-August, about safe ways to view an eclipse, whether it's partial or full. It's the same problem. You can't be staring directly at the sun. So, but we're going to get something. It'll be cool.
All right.
Okay.
Bonnie Tyler, total eclipse of the sun.
Thanks so much for joining us. News Center at 5:30 starts right now.